A common problem with the Augustus Orion team, right?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Okay. So the bad news about this team is there's no Sebastian, there's no counter control at all, and the only thing going for it is Karkh Kai. So if we get a good dodgy line going, we're not really going to have any issues at all. We are going to use. I mean, we couldn't use Isaac because we got double mage here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit with the control line a little bit. So the way that this is going to work. The way that this team works is it's pretty straightforward, right? The only threat on the enemy team is Karkh, and of course Kai's knock up. Kai plus Helios is a lot of magic damage. The thing is like there, you have 2 armor artifacts, a couple of magic attack artifacts, and a physical attack artifact. So there's not really much synergy aside from these 2 right here. And once you get some dodge artifacts going, you're not going to have a real difficult time avoiding Karkh's big hits. You might get gibbed, you might get one shot, you might get tapped or one tapped or whatever. 4.5 years, D Warman. Man. Such a friend. I appreciate you. We're just gonna do some serious control. Ninja Turtles are gonna throw in some blinds and some stuns as well. Right. Excuse me. Celeste is really good against Karkh, but you want to make sure that you use Axel. It's pretty important there. And then there's a lot of other options that you can use. Nebula kind of fits in, kind of okay. I often use Jorgen to kind of slow the team down a little bit, and that's what we're going to use today. Control with Aurora is definitely not a good combo, but on the other side of things, the more that your team dodges, the faster their energy gain is. Your team is going to ult eventually, and when they do, the stuns are going to start. Ninja Turtles are going to occasionally blind. Jorgen is going to suck energy from the front. It ends up being a little counterintuitive, but the idea that you shouldn't do it at all, it's not bad. It's not a bad idea. So who does Karkh hit? Celeste, Jorgen, and Arachne. And then there went Kai. Didn't really do much. I could have probably used Morgan to protect against the Astaroth revive. But we're stun locking now. Stun locking. Yeah. Damien, the question that teams like Damien has for us is, do you play defense without control blockers? You can't have Chorus and Sebastian on every team, right? So Clash of Worlds is it's a different situation altogether, right? You don't have the ability to protect your team from control effects forever. But in Guild War, I would still recommend a good amount of control effects, to counter the enemy's no. I would recommend bringing control effects if the enemy doesn't have any. So the same situation right here, right? We don't have any Sebastian, we don't have any Chorus. So I could roll this team with a good set of control heroes. And I'm actually going to switch to my IDH team. What I really like about IDH versus Cleaver will yank my Dorian, and he do be liking to be yanked, if you get me. To my midline, which is going to keep my team up. Penetration, artifact weapon, boosting Yasmin and Qing Mao, super, super scary. Super, super scary, right? I don't have any magic damage, though. So Isaac is going to be really slow to ult being in that back line. Kind of a wasted hero if you know what you're doing and you bring the correct line. He's kind of a wasted hero here. Okay, kind of a wasted hero. We are going to use Aurora. No, we're not. We're just going to stick with Astaroth. He's going to stand up to Qing Mao just fine. Now, for the 5th hero, the reason why I'm not going to use Aurora is because I don't want Isaac to ult but just one time. Yasmin is going to ult basically no matter what. I could use Amira to counter Yasmin. We're going to use Astaroth here. We're going to use Dorian to counter the Cleave Daddy pretty quickly. I think that we're going to use Kane on Heidi. I think that's probably fine. Now, Yasmin loves to blow up. Let's see, continue. Yasmin likes to blow up Iris. So I think for a little bit extra protection, we are going to go ahead and use Amira here. Amira is going to make everybody miss once Yasmin starts ulting. The thing about Yasmin, she stacks she stacks critical hit artifacts pretty quickly. And Amira is really, really good at countering agility-based heroes that have critical hit. So that's what we're going to use here. Yasmin can be pretty scary, you know, if she's left to her own devices. Xing Mao also, but see, without any magic damage, I know Amira is magic damage, but she's one big hit, right? That's it. One big water pump. It's water pump, not the fuel pump. Did I say fuel pump? It's water pump. Amira's got one big hit, and hopefully that will kill the enemy Isaac and not cause him to just go crazy ulting. Yeah, see, he's dead anyway. Sometimes you just overthink these fights, but it's better to talk through them and have a little bit of strategy than just send whatever team. A common problem with the Augustus Orion team, right? A lot of people say Augustus Orion, Dante, it's best team. But it's like nobody talks about the best teams to use them against. You know, it's mostly okay as long as you don't run into an Isaac Sebastian team on defense with Augustus Orion. But, you know, my Heidi Iris Dorian line is really good. I didn't use my Aurora tank, and I didn't use my, you know, Nebula or Arachne or Morrigan or, you know, other. It's just a nice extra line of defense against a bunch of critical hit heroes. So, yeah.